Alright guys, this is the first time I'm doing this, so bear with me while I try and figure this out. This is literally I just downloaded OBS. I recorded the first video, fucked it up so bad that half of the screen was not showing. So I'm going to do this again because I want to pass the message. But there are three things that I want to show you today. It's probably more for new players than anything else, but I know some other people haven't played the game for a while but don't know about these things either. So three things: copy and paste items from in-game trade and from shop window, find better items using POB, and use configuration screens for jewels that are not supported and other mods essentially. So for assuming you have POB, I'm not going to explain how to download POB. You can Google it, how to import your character. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm assuming you import your character, you already have everything set up on your hand, but you still don't know how to use it in terms of finding your next upgrade, because that could be a little bit tricky. All right. Sometimes people are gonna put manually things in here, which is gonna take a lot of time, and hopefully this is gonna skip that phase for you and just gonna be a little more easy on finding your next upgrade and knowing what's your next upgrade. So if you come into the game and you open the market, and I already have one item here, for example, I already looked up for the mods. You can come here on the right, on the left hand side here under this cop item. As you can see here, if you cop item, you can come to POB, click on it, and then under the items tab, you can paste that item, and it's going to show exactly what's the upgrade for you, if any. Exactly, right? So I know right now if I pay how many divines? 45 divines on this item, that's a 28% loss in terms of aggregate DPS for me. I'm gonna gain some mana regen probably because I'm gonna lose skill levels, but I'm gonna lose almost like 30% DPS. So I know that's a downgrade for me. You can also, if you look here at the top, you can change your runes and get the runes that you actually need to use. Remember that sanctified items have some restrictions in terms of things that can be changed. I don't know if runes can be changed, honestly I don't remember. Just be careful. If your item is corrupted or sanctified, triple check what can be done with the item after. There's some difference between PoE 1 and PoE 2 if you're coming from PoE 1. It's very similar if you're doing from the trade website, except for if you're doing trade website. Where is the trade? Oh man, I'm trying to find something on trade. You have it here. They used to have a button on the left hand side here. They don't have it anymore. You have to travel to hideout, I think now. If someone knows a better way of doing it through the trade website, just let me know. You come to the window, you hover over the item, Ctrl C, go back to POB, Ctrl V, and then it's telling you exactly what it's gonna be. It's just a different way of finding an item, but again, the method of pasting to POB is the same, but you can also do that through the trade website. Right, so first one is tackled, right? It's not hard, but at least you know now that you're going to be able to see if that's truly an upgrade for you or not. POB is just a numbers game. It does not tell you how the build feels. Because if you're upgrading, for example, I'm just going to extrapolate here so just for the sake of example. If I buy a staff that raises my damage by 200%, let's say it's 200% more damage overall, but it costs also increase my mana cost by 200%, I'm not never gonna have mana to cast that shit. So I might actually lose DPS because I'll cast only once every 5 seconds. So the feel of the build, only you can tell once you're actually playing. So more DPS does not necessarily mean better, right? The other thing too is once you're doing these upgrades, be careful with the wardens on the left hand side, because some items have requirements and such. So if you put an item here, let's say I put this one, right? And then I add to build, and then I come here, and then once I do that, there's a bunch of wardens over here. Take a time to look at this on the left hand side here. Sometimes it's gonna tell you that you're missing some stats that you need, right? So make sure that you have the stats needed, or have a plan to have the stats needed before buying the item. Otherwise, you're just gonna spend the money for no reason. All right. So second thing is find better items using POB. This one is one of my favorites. Under the items tab, once your your character is fully already here, already configured, blah blah blah. You come here, trade for items, and then there's a little screen to find the items for each slot on your build. If you add more slots in terms of jewels, it's gonna come here and show up here more sockets. I only have 4, so only 4 is popping up. Let's say I want to find a weapon. Because my weapon personally, I use full DPS. I don't want any other stat out of it other than full DPS. Under DPS, I just keep it this here. You can slide this left and right. Keep it there. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna click find best. And then here you choose the options between runes. If you're gonna remove runes, keep, and so on. You can read through this and figure out what's the best for you. Actually, you can exclude corrupted and mirror if you don't want any of those. And I'm just gonna click and execute in this case. Sometimes it does this because it's a lot of queries from the server, but it should work shortly after. All right, here's the interesting piece. You can fetch as many pages as you want. I usually put just one because whatever. This is the whole list of items that POB saying maybe you should consider these items for full DPS. If I start from the bottom of the list, if I get this staff over here, I pay 250 divines and I lose 22% of my damage. So definitely a no. This one over here, it's almost like 1,000 divines and I'm losing 21% of my damage, overall damage. Also a no. The list is from more damage, the highest stat value, to the lowest, right? So keep that in mind. You can also update conversion rates here. Not gonna make a difference for what we're trying to do, but alright, so the first staff on the list is a 1,600 or 1,700 divine staff that if I buy and equip, it's going to only give me 6.7% more damage. Because if I scroll down to the 3 mirror one, I spent 3 mirrors. I would only gain 1.2% more damage. It's nuts, right? Again, but don't take these numbers at face value. It's all green here, which is good, but also it's super expensive. There are other things to consider that I'm not going to get into it. For example, for those of you that play Spark, for example, cast on crit might be a stat that you want to focus on at some point because it helps you with cast on crit comment. It might raise your damage. And I honestly don't know if POB makes those calculations. So sometimes you're going to lose a little bit more damage in this build, but if you get more crit, and you end up actually getting more damage overall. And you can ignore that if you're not Spark, whatever. So yeah, you can see here that, and there's a bunch of other stuff. How helpful this is. Today, I found a staff that gives me 12 or 13% more damage for 350 div. I don't know. It was a lot more damage. And then if you're checking my stats over here, this is tagged for Pinnacle. I have a decent character at this point. I have like 2,000 divines plus in this character. So just by using this, I found a staff that was much better. My mapping just got absurdly better. In any case, it's same for jewels, right? I don't have a lot of jewels other than the ones I'm using in my voices. It's not working in POB, and I'll talk about that in a second. But let's say I want to replace, I don't care about spark levels anymore. Let's say I want to replace my Prisma Belief. So I come here, socket 1, because that's where it is. I come here, find best. Actually, let's say I want to find something that's not going to give me full DPS. I want something that's going to give me more defense because I'm squishy. I'm going to put the DPS to 0. I'm going to come here. Oh, I want a lot of energy shield. And I also want a lot of effective hit pull. Put both for one, both at 1. Sorry. Yeah. Socket. So he's looking for energy shield and effective hit pull. Let's see what comes up with in terms of jewels for the socket. If you were to replace my Prism of Belief, right? So let's wait. Again, too many queries in the server, so it does complain. All right. Let's see what the list gives to us. There's a lot of stuff. So for 275 divines, I can gain 10% energy shield, which is 960, and a lot more effective hit pool, about 10% hit pool as well. But I also lose. I actually don't lose a lot. Interesting. I actually almost do not lose damage, which is impressive. And again, a lot of defenses. Well, interesting. But you can see here, and I'll get to that in a second. You can see here on the 6th line, you see that it's not supporting POB yet. I'll get to that in a second. So yeah, this is a substantial defense increase, and then not too bad in terms of overall DPS loss. It's not worth for my build perspective. For example, in my perspective, because that I'm gonna lose spark damage, and that's gonna get my cast on crit procs worse. So I wouldn't buy this, but you can see how the jewel search works. Two other things, and they're pretty similar. So I'm just gonna do one of them. You can look for megalomaniacs and heart of the walls as well using this. I found a megalomaniac for 1 div that increased my damage by 17% yesterday. Yeah, just by looking through this. I wanted to move some points around, so I came here. I'm like, well, I want to get rid of some. I was spending 6 points to get access to something, and then I just came here and then I found a jewel that got me 17% more damage and then saved me 5 points, which is absolutely insane, right? So not only gave me 17%, it also freed up 5 more points that I could use somewhere else. So actually, it was way better than that. And I bought another megalomaniac today for almost 200 divs. That gave me 3 useful notables. So I ended up replacing it, but yeah, we get the point. All right, so there is holy shit, there's almost 4,000 divine jewel here that would make me lose, which is pretty fun. It's probably because some of these are already allocated in my tree, so I don't get the benefit twice, and I can shapeshift. Yeah, so there are some upgrades to damage in here, but again, it is all subjective, right? So because you gotta figure out how your build works, what you want out of it, how many points you're gonna save by allocating this through this jewel. But this is a good thing to keep an eye on if you're interested in poking around with it. Again, you can find something that's gonna boost your damage or your defenses or whatever you were looking for very cheap, and be better than an actual rare jewel that you might be looking for. And Heart of the Vault is the same thing, right? You're just gonna find the ways that you want to use, and then you come back here, and then you know the jewel already. Lastly, is the using configuration screens for jewels. They're not supporting other things. So you can see that I have a bunch of on the configurations. I have a bunch of crap here. For example, I have voices which allocates the sockets in here, but they can't be used in POB at the moment for some reason. They are not working. So I come here manually and add them. If you type exactly the same description that the jewels have, you can see them under here. You can actually check in game and come in here and just type them out. And copy, if you copy and paste it here, it's gonna give you the stats. So pay attention to my full DPS here, 1.339. If I remove the E at the end, you can notice that it drops to 1.294. If I put it back, it means it's calculating correctly. You're gonna notice that while you're typing some of these things, your computer is gonna stutter a little bit because POB is doing calculations. Yeah, there's that. What the easiest way of doing this is honestly, you come under items, double click your item, right? It's gonna pull it up. If you come under edit, you can copy all this text over here and then paste over there, which was pretty much what I did. I just put 2 slashes in front of whatever wasn't a true stat, I just so it works as a comment that is red, so it's easy to read, and everything else I kept working, which is blue. You can see at the top I already have some stuff that's configured in here, and so on, right? So this is how you do these things. If you want to test what an anointment, I actually a bonus. Two other things. One, if you want to test what an anoint in your helmet or an amulet wants to do to you, to your build, you can check that out as well. So let's say I wanna, let's do one with damage because that's the one the easiest ones to see. What gives me damage? Ah, boy, I have a lot of damage shit already, so it's hard to find something that's gonna give more damage. Okay, Ice Storm. It's a notable, right? Means you can anoint this using Paranoia, Isolation, and Disgust. So if I want to know what Ice Storm is gonna do to my build, you can even hover over this, because you can see here it's gonna give me 1.2%, right? Or you can see that what does if I allocate all the points until I get here with 2.3%. If you want to play around, because sometimes you need to anoint and do some sort of puzzle play to figure out what your build is gonna look like, you can come here. So it's Ice Storm the name. You can come here, do allocates Ice Storm. You can see the damage changing. That means the notable is being allocated, right? And you can also come here to the tree, and you're gonna see it's very hard to see actually for some reason in POB. It's kind of highlighted. It means that it's working. I'm gonna come back there. I'm gonna remove this, and you're gonna see that's gonna go darker, right? Okay. And lastly, which this one might take some time. If you come here and click on your tree, if you click Power Node, you can click on Show Power Report. It's gonna stutter a little bit. My computer is pretty good, so it's still gonna take some time. But in any case, you can choose whatever you want to do, right? You can choose whatever stat you're looking for. We can click on Show Power Report. It's gonna give a report of paths that you can take in the tree in order to more damage, lowest damage, and then if you choose an energy shield in order to from highest energy shield to lowest amount of energy shield, it's gonna tell you how many points you would have to spend. It's gonna be all here. I'm not gonna do it because it takes a lot of time. It's a lot of calculation, but just so you know that this is here. All right, that's all I had to show today. I know it's very cookie cutter. There's no editing. I just literally popped up OBS, downloaded it, and popped it open and try and record this. Hopefully this is gonna help people. I'm not a content creator. I want to gain anything from this. If I'm doing something wrong, there's something that can be do better using these tools. Let me know in the comments on Reddit. This is where I'm probably gonna post it. But yeah, if this is useful to you, I'm glad to hear that. But I'm just trying to cover the bases because I've seen a lot of questions very lately about this. So hope you enjoy and happy grinding.